Alright, so I have a set of manifolds here. From the outside they look exactly the same. You would think that they are the same, but they're not. This on the left is a LS6 manifold, which is considered to be one of GM's best production manifolds. There's people that are making tons of power on these. There's even companies that will lob off the snout here and retrofit well, I guess not retrofit, but customize it and put a 90mm snout on here just because of how good this thing flows. It's an amazing manifold. I spent months looking for one. I finally found this one. I bought it from a guy who said it was an LS1 manifold, but from the pictures I could tell that it wasn't. So I got a great deal on it. He was happy with the amount of money he got for it. It had been sitting in his garage for like a year or two, so we were all happy. I cleaned it up. It wasn't this clean when I first got it. And I just wanted to show you guys the differences. If you're looking for an LS6 manifold, you will have a lot of guys that are trying to pass off LS1 manifolds as LS6s. And you will have some guys who don't know what they have that are trying to sell LS6 manifolds as LS1s. Those are the ones you want to find because you want to pay less but get the better thing. So I picked this one up for $175. That's how much he was asking for. I didn't haggle or anything. I paid him his money. He was happy. I was happy. And I got this manifold. So from the outside, like I said, they look exactly the same. Right? Well, this one's a little dirtier. It's been in the car for a while. All the bolts are the same. Everything matches up. You know, it even has these little brackets here on the side, same as that one. I'll show you what those are for. So yeah, you think, okay, they're probably the same. They probably flow about the same. They make about the same horsepower, but you would be dead wrong. The LS1 manifold is considered by far the worst manifold that GM ever put in an LS-based engine. It's not terrible. It'll still make power, but it is, out of all the options you have, it is one of the worst ones. Or it is the worst one. The truck manifold is better than this one. You just can't fit a truck manifold into a Corvette or a Camaro, but this is considered the worst manifold ever made by GM. So even if you look at the back, all the ports are the same. That's another thing. On my other video, I didn't show that this is for the brake booster. That's for your HV controls, your air conditioning controls. So you definitely want that plugged in. And then this is for your map sensor. One thing you will run into is a lot of these get this little tab here broken off just because of where it's at, or they don't know how to remove the map, so they snap that off. It's not a huge deal if you find a manifold that you like, that you want to buy, that has that broken off. You can just put the map sensor in. It pretty much sits in there pretty well. It has like a rubber grommet that kind of tucks it and keeps it tight in there. This is just sort of a retainer, and then you can just zip tie it down. But you could also get the seller or whoever you're trying to get it to get you a little money off because of that. But that's not a big deal. I've seen tons of guys that run with just a zip tie holding it down. Okay, but so now let's go to like the differences. So these are all, everything from the top looks the same. You know, all the hoses and everything lines up the same. So one thing you can tell is you can use this number right here. So this is the number that I went off of. This is the casting number. This is a late model casting number. So this is an LS6 from like a 2002. I think Corvettes, it was like 2001. And no, the 2001s have a different lower casting number. This is like the late model 2002 to 2004 Corvette, or like a 2002 Camaro, which is what this is from. This is from a 2002 Camaro SS. The car had like 60,000 miles on it when the guy replaced it with an aftermarket. So you can take this casting number. If they take a picture of the manifold and you're just like looking at it through like OfferUp or Craigslist or even eBay, take this number here, put it into Google, and it'll tell you when it was manufactured and if it's a late model intake, which is the LS6, or if it's a older style LS1. So the LS1 is right here. So it's It ends in 333. This is probably like the early model manifolds, probably one of the first production ones. So you can use those numbers, but if they're all scratched off or you can't really tell from the pictures, another way you can tell, and I guess the easiest way to tell is the bottom of it. So this has got brand new pads on it, because when I did buy the car about like 6-7 months ago, I did go through and replace all the gaskets. Even though it was an LS1 manifold, I still wanted it to work at its best. I didn't want any vacuum leaks or anything like that, so I put in new gaskets, new foam pads. These foam pads are actually pretty important. As you can tell, I have some new ones here that are going to go on that manifold. These are to prevent any water from going inside. So if you take this off and you look at your belly pan, which is the part that's right underneath here, you'll see that like there's a ton of dust like in the front of it up to like the foam pad, maybe like a little bit into it. But from right here to here, it's pretty clean, and that's where the knock sensors are, right here. Okay, so the way you can tell, again, but let's go back. The way you can tell that this is the LS1 is because of this little hump right here. You see that hump? This wall is higher here as well. You got the hump, then you got these center holes right in the middle. Okay, that's the easiest way for you to tell. Look at the bottom. If you see a hump, it's LS1 manifold. Okay, so again, hump, center bolts. Now we go to this one. This is a LS6 manifold, completely flat. Has that center holes, but they're different. It also has these tabs on the side. The LS1 did not have those. It has these like attachments here. This wall is slightly shorter, as you can tell, which we are going to run into a problem. Just because there's some steam vents that go through here that I am going to keep. I do want to keep them, but I'll show you guys how to work around that. Also, a lot of guys come in here and they like remove all this ribbing just so that they can have a little extra space to fit those steam ports. But these are structural. These are what's giving the bottom plate its strength. So you go in here and you start removing everything, then you're gonna have a real flimsy bottom. You could get cracking on the sides here. So if you do want to remove some of this, I would say, I believe the steam port is on this side, so reversed. It comes in like right here, and then it goes up against like back here, and then it comes out like down this way. If you're gonna remove it, just remove this set of ribs here. Okay? Take it to the car, try it a couple times, make sure that you're getting it done, and then just remove what you need. Do not go in here and remove everything. You know, I've seen guys that like sand this down completely smooth, you know, but these are structural. These are doing something. They're not just there for casting. So go in here, and I think I'm gonna try not to remove any of the ribbing. I think I can get away with it by setting the vent tubes flush up against the valley pan. If that doesn't work, I do have another trick that I'm gonna try from a truck. So I'm gonna show you guys that. Let me press pause here. All right, so this is from a truck, 5.3, 4.8, 6.0. They all have the same thing. And this is the steam vent for the front of the truck. It goes like this in the front of the motor. It gives you that one single exit nipple. And in the back, there's two block off plates. I want to keep all four of my steam vents. It's, you know, up to debate. Some people say that it doesn't do anything, that, you know, they're pretty much useless. That's the reason GM blocked them off. Other guys say that that's the reason why we're burning up the sleeve on, or not the sleeve, the piston on number 7, because it gets too hot back there, starts boiling. Whatever, it's not very much work, and I'm going to keep my steam vents. But what I was thinking of doing was, I have like 3 or 4 of these just from different LS motors that I've, you know, picked up. You can go to the junkyard and pick one up. They're pretty inexpensive. I think they're a couple bucks. This one is pretty tore up. It's pretty rusted, so I won't be using this one. But I'm thinking of putting one of these in the back, like this, if I can get the ribbing or the steam vent that goes across here to go flat enough. Put one of these in the back and then just run a hose from here all the way to the front. and then tie it into the other front. And then I had, like I said, I have enough of these that I can put one of these in the front as well, and then just go up and tie it into that other one. Make a T connection here, and then connect it to the normal line that goes to the radiator. But I'll see what I can do. I think I can get away with just massaging the LS1 stuff. Let me go show you guys in the car what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the steam vent that goes across, connects up there, down there, and then we also have all four corners over there and there. But this is the one that goes in here. So what I'm gonna try to do is, as you can tell, it's a bit proud of the bolt here. So but there's enough space down there that I can probably massage this down so that it's at least flush with the bolts in that harness. So I don't think I'm gonna run into a problem. I think I can do it. I'm gonna replace this belly pan gasket anyway. It just needs it. It's leaking oil. So I replaced all the gaskets on the upper deck, like the valve covers and the intake manifold, but I didn't have this one, so I didn't replace it. But it looks like it is giving me a little bit of an oil leak. Oil pressure sensors back there, cam positioning sensor. But I am getting a bit of an oil residue from here. I think last time I saw a little puddle of oil down there. So I'll just put a new one in. I have one. But yeah, so I'm gonna massage all this down, get it flush with those bolts, and then I should be able to just install it without an issue. But if I run into anything, I'll take a video of it and then post it. That way you guys kind of know what's going on. All right. And then these are the lines that I was talking about that are in the back of it. So that's your HVAC hose, and then your map sensor plug, and then this big one right here is for your brakes. So if you forget to do these, you won't have brakes or your AC compressor, and you also have a massive air leak. But yeah, if you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks.